Imagine committing to someone for 30 years and then watching your life with them crumble. Imagine then that the one you love abruptly and completely dumps you and gets married to someone else. Dr. Doug Weiss, a well-known marriage therapist, went through this after he divorced Lisa Weiss after a long marriage and married Daystar co-founder Joni Lamb. But that's not all there is to it. Many people are now doubting Doug's character and decisions due to some stunning comments Lisa Weiss made about her ex-husband not long ago. As a marriage counselor, Dr. Doug Weiss is well known. A large number of individuals have benefited from his teachings, have read his books, and have collaborated with him to enhance their relationships. Despite his apparent competence on the job, Doug's private life has become a hotly debated topic. After more than 3 decades of marriage, Lisa and Dr. Doug Weiss finally divorced. They appeared to be the type of pair that could last a lifetime together. Famous for his work as a marriage counselor, Doug, somebody whose job it was to help other couples improve their relationships. The significance of love, faith, and fidelity in a partnership was a common theme in his speeches. Many people held him in high esteem as a result of his work. It appeared as though Doug and Lisa would have a wonderful relationship. They were involved in the church and did things together, such as going to public events and working. When Doug offered marriage counsel, many listened. For both his books and speeches, he offered advice on how to strengthen relationships. His ability to assist couples in remaining united through difficult times was well known. Just because Doug was great at assisting other people in their marriages doesn't mean his own marriage was flawless. Faults exist in any relationship. After many happy years of marriage, Doug and Lisa began to have some private problems. After being together for 30 years, something changed. Doug and Lisa's romance had ended. The news that Doug was divorcing his wife, however, surprised everyone. People had a hard time understanding, as Doug had always stressed the importance of marriage. He was killing himself while making a living by counseling others on how to save their relationships. And the speed with which Doug moved on only added to the strangeness. Not shortly after their breakup, he wed Daystar television network co-founder Joni Lamb. Many were taken aback. After Doug's 30-year marriage to Lisa ended, he nearly immediately married Joni. After all this time together as a married couple, many started to question why he hadn't given it more consideration. According to Lisa, the fact that Doug no longer cares about her is a major issue. According to her, his enthusiasm in their relationship waned with time. Fighting wasn't the only thing that happened. The plot revolved around Doug gradually withdrawing. They had been together for quite some time, yet Lisa still felt lonely. Many of Doug's acquaintances attest that he devoted himself entirely to his job. As he devoted more and more time to his work, Lisa began to feel unimportant. The amount of time Doug had to devote to his career, in her opinion, was detrimental to their relationship. It seemed as though nobody was giving her any kind of attention. Another thing that caused me stress was being in the spotlight. Working as a marriage counselor meant that Doug's private life was well documented. Since he was constantly offering advice to other people on how to keep their marriages together, he found it even more puzzling why he had gotten a divorce. When he helped other couples stay married, people started to question why he couldn't save his own marriage. The speed with which Doug moved on following their breakup stunned everyone. When he and Lisa broke up, he quickly wed Joni Lamb, who had co-founded Daystar television network. I was caught off guard by this. Doug appeared to tie the knot with Joni somewhat rapidly following his lengthy marriage to Lisa. Many were perplexed by Doug's hasty second marriage. Was he contemplating a divorce prior to its actual occurrence? Prior to their breakup, did he have any feelings for Joni? After being married for so long, why did he get married so quickly? Word on the street was that. Supposedly, Doug and Joni were longtime acquaintances. They collaborated while they were Christians. Even before Doug and Lisa broke up, some of them claimed to have been close. As a result, more and more people started to wonder when Doug would tie the knot. Doug was having an affair with Joni while still married to Lisa. Following their breakup, Lisa Weiss did not remain silent for long. Because of everything she had gone through, her story held great significance for her. She added, "It hurt a lot when he chose to break up with me. The fact that he wed Joni Lamb so soon after our breakup only served to deepen the pain. To salvage our marriage, I exerted all effort possible." A lot of deep contemplation ensued as a result. What are the chances of getting married again after a long marriage? Was there a relationship between them previously? After Doug quickly hooked up with someone else, Lisa felt like she no longer mattered, even though she didn't expect he would be alone forever. It seemed as if he couldn't care less about the moments they had. This was difficult for Lisa. The difficulty of dealing with anything in public was something Lisa discussed. Evidently, everyone could perceive the immense suffering she was experiencing, adding to the difficulty of handling it. It was difficult for her to recover since everything was so public, but she needed time. Things were already bad before Doug promptly moved on. The hardest part for Lisa was giving up the life she had imagined with Doug. She naively believed that their relationship would improve with time and that they would remain together indefinitely. Unfortunately for Lisa, her dreams of a future with Doug ended the moment he got remarried. In that 1 second, her entire world appeared to have shifted as soon as Lisa pivoted. She was able to see the good times despite the bad times. She would always cherish the memories of the good days they shared as a couple. It's easy to lose sight of the bright side when times are rough. Looking back, Lisa could see love and happiness, despite the fact that it ended in misery. In her own words, Lisa emphasized the significance of getting well and moving on. Despite the difficulties, she was certain that she would eventually find serenity. Allow yourself to absorb the discomfort and proceed carefully, she reassured her. Conversely, Doug never provided a satisfactory explanation for the dissolution of his marriage. He avoided discussing the specific grounds for their divorce. Instead, he reflected on his future with Joni. Because many were curious as to why Doug and Lisa's marriage had ended, this infuriated them. Neither Doug's emotions nor the events leading up to the split were discussed. Instead, he looked more eager to go on. After Doug wed Joni Lamb, she made public comments about their friendship. According to Joni, they had loved each other and supported one another during a difficult period. As they worked through their issues side by side, she added, their friendship became stronger. Even Joni's happiness with her new spouse, Doug, was evident. According to her, they were optimistic about their future as a couple. The rapidity with which Doug wed Joni started to baffle many. It was believed by some that he was motivated by financial considerations as well as romantic ones. Many questioned whether Doug wed Joni for the financial and other benefits she received from her employment at Daystar, a major Christian television network. Lots of individuals were irritated by this. Some felt that Doug was taking advantage of Joni's success at Daystar for his own benefit. He was supposedly less concerned with being with them and more with accumulating wealth and power. After Doug and Lisa's breakup, many assumed he was more concerned with securing a job in the media than with moving on from his pain. Doug and Joni appeared content in their relationship despite the fact that other people disliked it. Their deep Christian link helped them get through the tough times brought on by being in the public eye. In spending time with Doug, Joni was able to reflect on her time with Marcus and anticipate her future with Doug. Following her breakup with Doug, Lisa Weiss gave her side of the tale, which caused a great deal of distress and anger among the audience. Many of Doug's marriage coaching clients were taken aback by Lisa's comments. Her struggles with mental illness were openly discussed, and the speed with which Doug remarried Joni Lamb was much criticized. A lot of people were wondering about Doug's private life and how fast he got over it. The fact that Doug wed another woman so soon was a major point of contention. Many felt that Doug should have given himself more time to recover after his 30-year marriage to Lisa before dating again. He wed Joni Lamb not long after his divorce from his ex-wife, who was instrumental in founding Daystar television network. Doug was assisted by numerous people. Their main point was that nobody should pry into a couple's private life, especially when it comes to a divorce. Additionally, it was mentioned that Doug has been candid about his marital struggles in his books. Everyone has the right to move on and be happy after a difficult breakup, even though some people were concerned by how fast he got married again. Supporters of Doug echoed the sentiment that he has helped countless couples and that his private life had no business interfering with his counseling practice. Doug and Lisa could tell that the opinions of others affected them, even when they differed. Though she despised the criticism, Lisa was grateful for the opportunity it provided to share her tale. She had a lot of support since people understood the anguish she was going through and valued her courage in speaking out. She mustered the courage to speak about her emotional troubles, which allowed others to comprehend the difficulty of her separation. The Daystar television network was co-founded by Joni Lamb and Marcus Lamb, the latter of whom passed away. Not only is it a popular venue for Christian television, but it also played a role in the story of Dr. Doug Weiss's divorce and subsequent marriage, with Joni Lamb's assistance in launching Daystar. Her Christian media career made her private life, and particularly her marriage to Doug Weiss, very public. Doug and Joni piqued the interest of many in Daystar. It appeared that Doug's hasty marriage to Joni following his breakup with Lisa contradicted the principles taught on Daystar, which include family values, marriage counsel, and spiritual growth. How a couple who publicly announces their intention to get married may so openly divorce and remarry baffled some. Joni Lamb's involvement in the matter was also extensively covered. She was an integral component of Daystar's operations, therefore many questioned if it was appropriate for her to be with Doug. Some viewers assumed that Daystar's counsel was being obstructed by Doug and Joni's private issues because of their fame in the Christian world. However, when others spoke ill of Daystar, they generally remained silent. Despite the network's best efforts to avoid discussing politics, the close bond between Joni and Doug forced them to touch on religious topics. Following a surprising decision that has many people wondering what will happen to Daystar, this matter has recently garnered a great deal of attention. The story's biggest twist occurred when Daystar co-founder Joni Lamb expelled her son Jonathan from the network. Daystar relied on Jonathan's many years of work both on and off the radio. Because of this, many were taken aback when Joni let him go. It was difficult for Jonathan as well. It must have been incredibly difficult for a son to endure his mother's rejection, much less from an establishment they had toiled so diligently to establish. People began to question if Daystar was operating in accordance with its stated principles, or if it was driven by internal conflicts. Some were concerned that Jonathan's family difficulties were affecting the network when he was sacked. Their curiosity about Daystar's future was piqued as well. Do you think it's strange that Doug got married to Joni so soon after his breakup with Lisa? Is it contrary to their teachings on marriage and family, in your opinion? The fact that Doug is a marriage counselor and Joni is Daystar's employee means that a lot of people discuss about their private lives. Is that anything you can relate to? Please share your thoughts with us. Much obliged for your time. Post a comment or give the video a like to share your thoughts. Much obliged for your time.